It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains.
On Sunday, February 21st, 1965, Malik El-Shabazz, formerly known as Malcolm X, was addressing his newly formed Organization for Afro-American Unity, or the OAAU, at the Audubon Ballroom on 165th Street in Manhattan, New York. The OAAU was a non-religious organization set up by Malcolm after his breakthrough from the Nation of Islam. Malcolm's dream was for the OAAU to fight for the human rights of the African-American people. That day, the Audubon was packed with between 400 and 500 people, which included Malcolm's followers, press, and his family. But one thing was noticeably missing. Unlike almost every other speech Malcolm had given since his rise to prominence in the Nation of Islam, there was no NYPD presence. Additionally, Malcolm's personal security, headed up by Eugene Roberts, did not search people as they entered the building. At around 3 p.m., Malcolm took his position on the stage following a 45-second standing ovation from the crowd. Malcolm's security coordinator, Eugene Roberts, stood by the stage, facing the audience. As Malcolm began his speech, two men at the front began to argue loudly and began fighting. Eugene Roberts walked towards the two men to break up the fight. As this was happening, three other men, armed with a shotgun and two automatic pistols, used the commotion to make their ways down the aisle and began firing at Malcolm. The crowd screams. Many fall to the ground as they and the shooters are trying to make their way out as fast as possible. Eugene runs to the stage where Malcolm is lying, barely breathing. He claims he checked on Malcolm's pulse and proceeded to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation for 5 minutes. Malcolm died before any help arrived. After the events at the Audubon, Eugene Roberts returned home and called his supervising officer at the NYPD's Bureau of Special Services and Investigations, where he reported the day's events. Shortly after this, Eugene was promoted to detective, where he went back undercover and would become one of the first members of the New York chapter of the Black Panther Party.
Under the COINTELPRO program, many political activists were harassed, imprisoned, murdered, or otherwise neutralized.